Just quickly before the video starts, I would like to say thank you very much for watching and clicking on the video. If you haven't already, please leave a sub. I really appreciate it. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subs, so I would really appreciate that. I hope you enjoy the video. Hello and welcome to this video. So in this video, I'm going to be revisiting the topic of what car is actually the best in Rocket League, what one you should use to actually rank up. A lot of people kind of go between the Octane and the Fennec. They're not really sure which one is actually better, whether it's just a preference thing. For me personally, I think they're both just as good as each other. I think on certain days, genuinely, they just feel better. One can feel better than the other, and it's very negligible. Another thing is using the Dominus and ranked, which this is just the three kind of main cars in the game. Using the Dominus and ranked can be a little bit sketch. I feel like unless you're already really good at the game, you shouldn't use the Dominus and ranked. I feel only once you've gotten to a certain point in the game, which should you be able to use the Dominus. That sounds really kind of like, you know, stern. Like I don't know why so I sound like I sound really angry the way I've just said that. I don't really mean it necessarily like that. You can't use it, but I think for improving, definitely the Fennec and the Octane just have to be up there in the best. So I looked at I searched up online on Google, and the first suggestion was the best cars in 2025, which was the Octane, then the Dominus, then the Fennec. From my personal experience, you shouldn't use any other car, and you should stick to one car. That is genuinely what I believe. Is when I was getting better at the game, I did not like switch very much. It's honestly such an underrated thing that people don't really talk about. Although you can get better with just using any car, it is definitely true. But you need, if you can master one car, then it's easier to switch to other cars. Is what my point is. So for me, it was mainly the Fennec that I mained. That was the main one I used. I did obviously use the Octane here and there, but in the main, it was the Fennec that I used. In my opinion, you need to stick to one car in the game. And to find that car, you just need to play and practice and use whatever feels better for you. Some people prefer the more nimble, like, aspect of the Octane. A lot of people prefer the more solid feeling of the Fennec. For me, well, that was cool. For me personally, it's definitely the Fennec is the more solid car out of both of them, but that is just my opinion. A lot of my practice went into the Fennec, and I did obviously, as I said, I literally used the Octane so much as well. But to improve, I literally barely changed off the Fennec for like a good while. And it's not a bad thing to change cars, but my point that I'm making is people say, you know, that it doesn't matter what car you use. And yeah, that's true when you get to a certain rank. 100% that is true. It shouldn't really matter what car you use. You should still be able to do the same things. But folk who tell you that and are below like GC just shouldn't really be thinking that way. It's not a good way to think. That I can just use what I want. It really isn't. Honestly, in a way, it doesn't matter what you use as long as you stick to the same thing. But as I said, Fennec and Octane are obviously the most common ones, and there's a reason that they're the most common ones. They're so solid, like they're really solid, that you feel pretty consistent in both of them, I would say. It just depends kind of on your playstyle as well, like how you're feeling. I would honestly, you know, this is a way to compare it, is don't go about changing your settings every day. Don't change your sensitivity, your camera settings. Do not change that on a daily basis. That's the point that I'm making. So you changing your car is completely thrown off you building up your muscle memory, and building up that mastery of that car. It's so much easier to master something after you've already done it with something similar. And you're not going to master something if you just constantly switch it around. For example, you know, like I know people who switch their camera settings about every day, and they don't really see that much improvement. No wonder, because you're constantly switching up your vision. Like you're literally switching up parts of the game that you need to be able to become like second nature to you. So everything is as simple as it needs to be. people who do that quite often, unless they're a higher rank and genuinely feel like it's slowing them down. If you are not at a point where you can switch and still be at a good level, and you know what I mean, you're constantly feel like you're having to adjust it all the time, I would definitely not recommend doing that. I just wouldn't. Same with your binds. Why would you change your binds all the time, believing that it's your binds that are causing you to play bad? And that isn't that hard of an issue to fix, like genuinely. If you've already been playing on bad binds, it's harder. It's honestly not that worth changing, I feel anyway. A lot of people will tell you different and say it's better being on the optimal binds, but if you look at players who've had bad binds, have still made it to the top level, does it really matter? It's all about what you're comfortable with at the end of the day. There are rules. There are definitely rules to follow, 100% in terms of settings and stuff like that. I would recommend not changing your car. That is to summarize everything that I've just said. Do not change your car all the time. Literally, like even if you main one car for a long time, like it doesn't even have to be super long, just a couple months. The difference that you will notice by staying on that car, even if you feel like you're playing bad, eventually you will get better because the mastery of that car. Although the Octane and the Fennec have the same hitbox, they feel very different. I'd like, they don't feel very different, but there is a difference, and there's no doubt about that. And if you're not using your main car and you're wondering why you're playing bad, that is genuinely something you really need to think about. You know, I wonder sometimes, like, I'm kind of at the point where I can pretty much use any car and it's not that big a deal, but I never used to be able to do what I do now. I used to have to stick to one car. For a while, like, literally, it's just such a simple idea. But I genuinely feel it's, like, underrated and not enough people talk about it. Like, that's not, like, a main concern for people, which I 100% believe that it is. It should be a main concern. Of, you know, am I good enough at the game? Like, what is one thing that I can guarantee that I can stick to and that will work? And I just feel sticking to the same car is one of the most underrated, like, parts of improving. Again, I would recommend just to put like a kind of, to put like a number on it, or like a bit of structure to what I'm saying. Like, anything below GC, do not swap your car. Just stay the same car. That is genuinely what I would recommend to people. And that is what I done, and I noticed that when I just mained the Fennec for a long time, that's when I got better. Like, that is literally when I got better. Because I'm not switching my hitbox and my feeling of the car around all the time. It's not necessarily bad for your muscle memory, but it's not going to improve your muscle memory any better. There's no way it can, because there's just a feeling thing with cars, and that comes with playing, but it also comes with sticking to the same thing. And once you get good enough, yeah, go ahead, change your settings, change your car. But until that point, genuinely just stick to the same thing. So I would like to know in the comments what your guys' main car is, what you think about what I'm saying, how that's an underrated part of the game. No one seems to talk about what I'm talking about. Maybe they do, maybe I'm just blind, I don't even know. But another part of this is your car design. I was never too, like, hot on, you know, the design of your car. I kind of just put random things on. I didn't really care about it. And eventually I decided, you know what, maybe even if it is like a bit placebo, maybe it does work. Maybe when you have a nicer car, you actually do play better. And a great tool, obviously a lot of PC players who are watching this will know, is Bacchus mod. That is literally the best thing ever. Like, I currently have Alpha Boost on, which is the only thing I have on right now, I think. Oh no, sorry, I have a couple other things on, but the consistency that you feel with Alpha Boost is unbelievable. It's actually night and day. It's quite crazy how just a boost can make you feel and play so much better. Your design matters and your car does matter, and the people who tell you different, I just do not believe it. From someone who has gotten to a decent rank in this game, I do not believe that for a second. I started designing my car and caring about maining the car, and you know, I did go up ranks, and obviously there's other factors into it, but I 100% believe that definitely helped me go up and get so much better at the game. Literally, if anyone is unsure about like car designs, I can literally I'll leave a link to something, some website, and you can go and look through car designs, and if you want like a pros car design, even if it is like a fake or like a placebo thing, I just feel like it helps with your whole form in the game and how serious you're taking the game. Having a messy car, it's like having a messy room in real life. This is a stupid analogy, but having a messy room is like having like a messy brain. That's like, it's like the same thing. If you have a clean car design, you mean business. You strike fear into your opponents every game because you mean business. You're not going about with a topper on or anything like that, and I feel like most folk don't do that anyway, to be honest. That kind of died a long time ago. And also, it's another avenue of the game that you can enjoy. Designing your car, like, even if it sounds a bit cringe, like, being a bit creative with stuff is fun. It is fun. And if you have Bacchus mod, it's even better because you can just pretty much use any item in the game. Even if other people can't see it, it can make you feel better. It just can. It's 100% is a thing, and it's not like a fake. It's not like it's real. Like that feeling thing of when you have a nice car, you will take the game a bit more serious. It's just, it's common. It's very common, and I don't know if that's obvious. I feel like it might be a bit obvious for some people. That some people are like, oh, I always design my car. I don't feel like I get any better. But for me, 100%, that is what happened. I started taking a bit more pride in that stuff and caring a little bit more about items in the game and how the game, you know, the even like the drop system in the game. I started learning about that and learning all the items you could get, and I thought it was interesting. It does help that Fogel, my friend Fogel, he used to be quite big into trading, so he kind of got me up to date on a lot of stuff like that, with a lot of the items. That does help. Unfortunately, Epic took trading out the game, which is a bit of a shame. So it's a lot harder to get items that you want for your car. But again, if you're on PC, it's not a big deal. If you're on PC, you can just use Bacchus mod and get the item anyway. Or not get the item, but, you know, use the item. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you haven't already, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. So yeah, thank you very much for watching this video, and I'll catch you in the next one.